Wonder Woman 776. Wow, oh, wow. We got a lot to discuss in this one because I get it. We're switching genres in kind of each issue now, but I think this is very filler and I don't really like it, if I'm being honest. I think out of everything in this run so far, I've been very optimistic on. The first arc was really cool. The Olympian stuff, yeah, okay, I can get behind it. This issue, we're in, what do they call it? It's like Alphaheim, but it's not Alphaheim, it's like Elfheim. It's very weird, and it's a funny book. I don't know if I like it too much. So Jill Thompson is the artist, and, I don't want to say anything negative about the artwork. I'm just going to say that it's not my preferred style of art. I like the use of, like, painting and, like, the watercolors almost, because it looks very stylized like that. I just think there's a certain inconsistency with the expressions sometimes, and it's not my preferred style. That's all I'm going to say on the artwork, just that people like this. I know there's going to be fans of this style because it makes, like, the dress that she's wearing in the scene look very cool. The character designs are very interesting, but sometimes you just feel like the lack of detail, and I think that's just the style of art this is, where we don't have to have the immense detail in every scene, but I'm just not impressed with that much of it. And I think this issue too is very filler, because nothing that happens in it really impacts the story other than Siegfried joins our party. So Ratatusk and Diana wake up in Afelheim. We're not supposed to eat any random food, but Ratatusk does, and he turns into a boy, which made me go for a second, oh, are we going to set up like a Wonder Woman family trip where Siegfried and Diana are going to be like parents to like the squirrel baby boy? That's not the case at all. We'll get to that in a bit here. And Diana gets attacked by some fairies. They come after her, and like the fairy king is this guy named Gwyn, and he's like, yo, did you kill the previous queen? Probably. You're new here. You probably killed her. I'm going to lock you in a tower. So we see that Ratatusk gets locked up in a cave. He's with a bunch of other kids, and he sends out a messenger bird to go find someone who can help them. And back in the tower, Diana's kind of locked up. She's looking at a puddle in the ground, which, that's very classic fantasy, which is fun. I like going to the fantastical routes of this kind of stuff. I just think like the mythological stuff for Diana doesn't work as much as like the mythology stuff, if that makes sense. Like the fays and like the magic and like the goblins and elves, that's not cool. But if you get like some godlike stuff, that it works better for Diana's story. And this stuff, I get why you do it. So we see Dead Man in a puddle, and he's just like, yeah, I can't really help you here, but I can tell you don't eat any food and don't like trust anybody. And then the puddle turns into Janice, and we see that Janice killed the previous queen, and she has the form of Diana, and that is why Gwyn thinks that it was her that killed him. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. We see falling through the ceiling is Siegfried, because he's the one that got the message from Ratatusk, and he's here to save the day. So just a couple of cool lovers just holding hands, kicking butt, freeing everybody, and they make new allies. Then we jump really far through this book. We're meeting like a woman on a frog, an owl. We're just like setting up stuff. We're gonna go find Ratatusk, but then Gwen kind of stops us in our way. We have to like fight him, but we don't really fight him. And again, it's certain aesthetic for people. It's very watercolors. It looks fine, but this is not what I kind of signed up my Wonder Woman to be, It's fine because it's one issue, and I don't think it takes away from the story, but I just think if you've been reading this consistently or even in trade, and then suddenly this is the story you get, you're going to feel like there's something jarring about the difference here, and it's going to take you out of it a little bit. So we do fight the fairy. Siegfried and Gwen kind of fight. He kind of gets taken down by Gwen. It's not looking good. And then we see that Diana gets him, and he's good. She's going to kill him as soon as he like releases Ratatusk. Everything will be fine. And then we see that the woman who was riding on the frog earlier is the actual heir to the throne of this kingdom. She is the sister of the queen that was previously killed. So she's probably going to take over because Gwen's a dick, which makes sense to me. I don't know. It's weird stuff, man. It's just a weird looking book, and I just think I get turning Ratatusk into like the boy. It's just not that fun. Like, it doesn't like give you anything really. He's just like complaining the whole time, where he's like, I wish I had my tail. Okay, I mean, I guess we needed to add more story to this. But Siegfried joins our party, and I don't really have much to say on this book. Like, we like this. I think the story that it's setting up here kind of would play out with or without Diana's involvement, because eventually the heir to the throne would come after Quinn, and the war would kind of happen between like the dark fairies and the elf king here, and the queen's sister. Like, that would eventually happen, but Diana kind of speeds up that story to the point where it happens. So they kidnap Gwen, and he's going to show them how to get to the next place. Diana's still like, I don't think you should come, Siggy, but he's like, no, I'm coming. I came because I like you, and I kind of love you, and you're probably the best person in the galaxy, so I'm helping you on this mission. We're gonna have fun and do the best thing. If I die, I'm gonna die by your side. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. Who needs Steve Trevor? We'll make our own character up. It doesn't matter. Steve Trevor's off in Checkmate or whatever that is, so who really cares? And we see that we're gonna have a portal to get us to Earth for some reason. So, for the first time in this new series, Diana, Siegfried, and Ratatusk are going to head to Earth. They crawl through a door in a tree, wind up in just Earth somewhere. And that is where the story ends. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, I get it. This is not my preferred story for Wonder Woman. I think it goes through very quickly, and key events are kind of played off. Like, we spend a lot of time just focusing on like Siegfried coming in and seeing like how Diana's being manipulated by Janice and stuff, and then it's just like the actual fight that's coming through like the Gwen and the other fairies. It doesn't focus that much on it, so it makes me go like, why is that even in here then? Why couldn't we just have like the one story that doesn't have like the conflict, and we could just have the normal fairy queen be opposed to these people? I don't know. It seems like it's just added stuff for no reason. And I think it's more just like setting up like, yeah, we know Janice has the face of Diana now, so that's going to wreak havoc across the realms probably. And I guess that's fun. And I'm kind of curious to see how this story is going to play going on into Earth now. That could be really interesting, but this issue didn't sell me on the book going forward. I just think the art style and the story itself don't lend itself to a creative Wonder Woman endeavor. It just feels like, yeah, we're going to do this story before we get into our next arc, which I guess is fine, because sometimes it's what you need in a book. They can't all be hits, they can't all be misses. So this one, in my opinion, is just a miss. But I will say, a very nice looking Wonder Woman costume. We get a new Wonder Woman costume each place she goes to. This one looks pretty cool. So that's kind of fun. And Siggy's back, so Siegfried will be on Earth, probably going to meet Steve. That could be some fun tension. So Wonder Woman 776, I am going to give a 6 out of 10. Now thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.